Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Legion video. Today, I'm going to be testing out the Demon Hunter for you and giving you my impressions. I've got to say though, this is going to be far more mixed than just about any other class impressions video that I've done. Know that I criticize because this is alpha and because I want things to get better. Also, thank you to the viewer who suggested I go here to Pandaria for the level 90 training dummies because they have unscaled damage. Now then, the Demon Hunter. It's a bit of a strange class. What I'm going to do is the usual treatment, but I have played this a little bit more than the other classes. So I've done the Artifact Quest, I've done the Starter Zone, I've done all of High Mountain, and I think most importantly, I have done a full dungeon, Black Rook Hold. That video should be out on the channel either tomorrow or the day after. But anyway, what I'm going to do is go through the core abilities, then I'm going to go through the talents, then the artifact weapon, and then I'm going to talk about how it plays. So as far as core abilities go, Fury is your main one, and it's generated with Demon's Bite. It's a quick attack, does some damage, and generates between 20 to 30 Fury. Key of the day, or the key word here is RNG, 2230, random value in between. Your next ability, which is your main spender, is Chaos Strike, 40 Fury, slice your target for heavy chaos damage, but crits don't consume Fury. Again, RNG. And this is the bit that might surprise you, that's it. They're your main buttons. Everything else is essentially a cooldown which doesn't have interaction within the core rotational gameplay, and that makes me pretty darn sad. But of course I will cover the other abilities because we will be using them. I-Beam, 50 Fury, 20 yard range, 45 second cooldown, does stupidly high damage. It's awesome, it's fun, it's brilliant. Then we've got Chaos Nova, does decent-ish damage, but more importantly 30 Fury, 1 minute cooldown, and it stuns enemies for 5 seconds. We've got Consume Magic, this is a interrupt that gives you a full bar of Fury, which is pretty damn cool. And we've got Throw Glaive, this just throws a glaive, it bounces around targets. And let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, Fell Rush, which is this. We've then got Vengeful Retreat, which does some damage and also slows enemies when you jump back from them. We've got Blur, so increases dodge by 50% and allows you to dodge spells and ranged attacks for 3 seconds. Dealing direct damage to a target refreshes the duration up to a total of 10 seconds, which is really cool. And then, of course, we've got Metamorphosis. 6 minute cooldown, you jump up into the air, do a big bit of damage, and then you get stun enemies, and then you get to use an augmented version of Demon's Bite and Chaos Strike. But to run into the core gameplay here, so I run up to one of these dummies, and if you just look there, you can see there's my bar of Fury. Now, it generates a random amount, but it spends a fixed amount. However, if it crits, then you obviously just get to hit that button again for free. The way that this works, though, is obviously you don't want to generate Rage past 100, because then that's a global cooldown, which isn't having its full effect, and you would have been better to use Chaos Strike. In my experience, the gameplay of this is if you are below 50, then you hit 1, or, you hit Demon's Bite. If you're above 50, you do Chaos Strike, and that's basically it. That is how this gameplay is. It's really boring, and you may have noticed when I went through all these other abilities, none of them really play into the core rotation. Like, yeah, every 45 seconds you'll do this, and it'll be absolutely fucking awesome. Every minute you might do this, and it'll be great. Every once in a while you'll be throwing out a glaive. But they're not your core buttons, your everyday buttons that you'll be hitting all the time, say within a 6-second period, and that really is what's disappointing me about this spec. It feels like it needs a few more abilities, and the reason why I was quite nice to this spec during the starter experience is because I thought we would have got more core rotational abilities. Right now, Fury just doesn't have much of an interesting interaction. Now, there is one slight problem at the minute which I noticed when I was leveling. To be honest, I'm not too worried about this issue because I don't think it will be prevalent in the main game. Sometimes there's a bit of a lag with Chaos Strike, so you might do your Chaos Strike and you'll spend your Fury, and then the game notices that it's a crit and it gives you your Fury back. Sometimes that's happened, in fact, kind of often. That really throws up your spec because you could end up missing out on a global cooldown because obviously, after you hit a button, you don't want to have to wait to see if it's a proc. Because that's just waste of time where you're doing nothing. No, as soon as if I get full Fury here, right, I've got full Fury. As soon as, here, I'm going to hit 2, and I'm just hitting 1 already before I even know if it's going to refund that Fury. That interaction needs to be cleaned up, but I very much assume it will be cleaned up, so that's why I'm not particularly worried about it. Again, what scares me here is that the core gameplay is astoundingly bland. It's mainly a 2-button spec, which is crazy. Let's just, So I actually went through all the abilities at the start there, because there aren't that many abilities. There's just not that many. I covered all of them. We've got a page and a bit right now. which is kind of strange. It is worth noting, though, there's loads of talents to come. That said, I'm not particularly pleased with the current row of talents. And again, I don't like being super negative. I'm not outwardly trying to hate in this spec. I just think it really needs to be better thought through. So at the level 99 tier, we've got Fell Mastery. Increases the damage of Fell Rush by 50%, and you gain 25 Fury whenever Fell Rush damages at least one target. Fair enough, but if you are going to be using Fell Rush all the time as an earner of Fury, like all the way throughout a fight, then I think that the gameplay of this spec is not really that good, to be honest with you. And we move on to Blade Dance. Now this is really cool, so I'll click on this. It'll give us Blade Dance. This you could say is a rotational ability because it's on 12-second cooldown. Great, that's another button for us to hit, and you do that. Pretty damn cool. And then we've got Blind Fury. Increases the duration of Eye Beam by 50%. If it increases the duration, that's it, doubling the damage. Well, yeah, not doubling, it's not 100%, but still, it does a lot more damage. I think Blind Fury is the best at the minute, but essentially, without Blade Strike, it's kind of boring. With Blade Strike, it's less boring, but it's still not that good. Moving on to the level 100 tier, we've got Prepared. After using Vengeful Retreat, you generate 96 Fury over 6 seconds. You'll notice a synergy here, Prepared and Fell Mastery. Fell Mastery means that you do more damage and get Fury from using your Fell Rush, and then Prepared means that doing Vengeful Retreat will give you even more Fury. What does that make your gameplay like? Well, it means you're jumping all over the place, and I can't, as an example, be, well, I've got this in cooldown, but I can't, be here, use my Vengeful Retreat to get back here, and then hit this without wasting global cooldowns and not being in range of my target. Meaning that that's a very uncomfortable playstyle as far as I'm concerned. Next, we've got Demon Blades. Your auto attacks have a chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate Fury. This replaces Demon's Bite, so this actually removes your spender from the game. A little bit strange. And then we've got Master of the Glaive. This is what I've been using. Throw Glaive does 100% additional damage against targets above 90% health, and its cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds every time it does damage. So its base cooldown is 10 seconds. If I do it here, though, it's now on a 4-second cooldown, which is quite nice. What's funny, though, is because of the way that the RNG of Demon's Bite and the late application of the Chaos Strike crit effect sort of means you can miss out on global cooldowns, there are... I almost think that depending on how it's balanced, Demon Blades might be the way to go, because think about it, with Demon Blades, it's impossible to go wrong. I'm just sitting here hitting 2. I'm hitting 1 button, guys. I ain't doing anything, because I've got no... This actually means that I've got no... Like, it just does this passively by itself whenever I do my melees. It's amazing. With this talent, this is... I'd almost say literally the easiest and simplest spec in the game, and also, like, the most boring. I mean, literally, I'm in here, this is me generating. All I'm doing is I'm hitting 2. I'm hitting 2, and I cannot do it incorrectly. Of course, I reckon this talent will be balanced, so that taking this talent will be incorrect. But still, with the gameplay like this, it's a case of use Chaos Strike on cooldown, and then just use all of your cooldowns on cooldown, and ensure you always have enough Fury to use your cooldowns. It's honestly completely brain dead. Not a fan. So that's why I'm going to go back to Master of the Glaive. Going through this other line of talents, we've got Desperate Instincts. You automatically cast Blur whenever you fall below 30% health, which is kind of dull. And then Netherwalk. Slip into the Nether, increasing movement speed by 100% and becoming immune to damage, but unable to attack, replaces Blur. Basically, this 104 tier doesn't like it's going to do anything to your DPS. Looking through here for the 106, the 108, the 110... Like, every single one of these tiers better be adding an ability, and at least 1 or 2 of them better be a core rotational ability. Right now, they have 9 potential ways to make this spec more interesting without changing what's currently here. If they do not make good use of those 9, this will be, in my opinion, anyway, one of the worst specs in the game. This right now is designed around the rule of cool, so they've got awesome abilities. Like this, fucking awesome. Right, look at this, guys. Actually, I'm just going to cut ahead to when I get to a ledge. Look at this, I double jump off here, I do Vengeful Retreat, or I do Fell Rush, I do Vengeful Retreat, and now I glide. That's fucking awesome, fucking badass. The fantasy of a Demon Hunter is completely, like, in swing there. But the core rotational combat isn't. For an example, look at I-Beam. This has got no real and meaningful interaction with anything else that you do. But it's really cool in isolation. And that is the running theme with everything that these guys do. It's not like one of those other specs where loads of their abilities feed into their other abilities and weave this complex and interesting tapestry of gameplay that involves you doing a lot of thinking and really planning out a really cool, satisfying rotation. I'll move on to the artifact weapon here. So it gives you an ability called... Okay, well, first of all, we've got Demon's Bite has a chance to empower your next 3 Chaos Strikes, causing them to be guaranteed crits and deal 50% additional damage over the next 6 seconds. Basically, it's a chance of giving you some free crits, which once again is even more RNG playing into this spec. This doesn't feel that interactive, though. It just means you'll be hitting 2 a little bit more. Not the biggest fan. I mean, I'd like this if it was a part of other things going on, but there just isn't enough other stuff. Right, let's look at the darn weapon thing. So, Fury of the Illidari, you send your Warglaive spinning rapidly around your location and does a bunch of damage. I'll just use it here. So, walk up to this guy, hit Shift 4, boom. They float around, do some damage. I've just got to assume that effect isn't finished yet, because it does kind of look like crap. So, going through all of these, Throw Glaive can bounce to 2 additional targets. Dodging an attack or spell generates 5 Fury. Consuming Soul Fragments reduces all cooldowns by 10 seconds. Soul Fragments are just dropped when enemies die. Chaos Vision, I-Beam damage increased by 5% per point, of course. Overwhelming Power, whenever Chaos Nova stuns a target, there's a 10% chance a Soul Fragment is generated. Critical Chaos, Chaos Strike crit chance increased by 3%. Sharpened Glaives, throw glaive damage increased. Right, Inner Demons, whenever you Chaos Strike a target, you have a chance to unleash your Inner Demon, causing an image of your demon form to crash down onto your target, dealing damage to everything. Doesn't play into the rotation, so whatever. Anguish of the Deceiver, each time I-Beam does damage to a target, you cause anguish on the target. Whenever anguish expires, it does damage based on how much it was stacked up. Again, not that interactive with your other spells. I mean, like, if you're missing your I-Beams, just go home, right? Oh, Demon Rage, Demon's Bite damage increased. Demon Spread, Fell Rush cooldown, Fell Rush no longer has a cooldown while Blur is active. Unleash Demons reduces the cooldown of Metamorphosis by 20 seconds per stack, which brings your meta down to 5 minutes. Illidari Knowledge, magic damage taken reduced by 4%. Contain Fury, maximum Fury increased by 10. And then Rage of the Illidari, whenever Fury of the Illidari ends, which is your artifact weapon ability, 100% of the damage dealt just erupts from you, split equally between enemies within 8 yards. Basically, there's stuff there that increases your chance of getting crits, that increases the pace of the spec, but nothing that solves my core rotational problem of it is just dull. Now, I do need to talk about Metamorphosis, which is kind of tricky in a video like this because it does have a 6-minute cooldown, so I'm going to explain what it does first. So it transforms your 2 core abilities. You might think you just hit meta, then win automatically. No, it does nice damage at the start, but what really happens is Demon's Bite gets changed into something else, an empowered version of Demon's Bite, which does more damage and generates around 75 Fury. And then you get a new Chaos Strike called Annihilate. This costs 100 Fury to use, and it does crazy damage in a cleave. How does that really impact your gameplay? Well, honestly, with the default amount of Fury, it's absolutely stupid. You've got a maximum of 100 Fury, Demon's Bite gives you 75, so you're wasting Fury to get up to the 100 you need to cast Chaos Strike, or Annihilation, which is what it's called. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Honestly, it doesn't feel like something that somebody would design, if you know what I mean. So if I run in here, oh dear, it looks like that silly, terrible talent, Demon Blades, didn't get fixed. I'll just reload here. Right, I fixed my talents and got rid of that horrendous talent, which makes the spec even more dull, so we're going to use Metamorphosis. And, you know, just look at the visual here, drink it in, it is beautiful, looks awesome. Okay, so, Demon Rend, I'm now at 100, so I use Annihilation. I then, oh wait, no, Annihilation actually procced. Yeah, sometimes you get a bit of a lag in the proc, which sort of sucks. And that's it. So, here's the funny thing, though. Yes, I'm doing more damage here, but the gameplay's the same. Metamorphosis doesn't affect my gameplay. It's dull. Metamorphosis is boring. They've made it boring. It's not like, and I'm going to actually draw two parallels here, one which I know a lot of you will get, and one which I will really get because I've played it. So, I remember a lot of the gameplay of a Demonology Warlock was about getting your meta form and then being able to stay in it for longer, and the better you played, the longer you'd be able to stay in it, I think. What's, for me anyway, more recent knowledge, and you should really watch my Shadow Priest video, is it's about getting into your Void form, which is like your big kind of super powerful form. You deal all your crazy damage. You get into that, and then if you play better, you're able to stay in it for longer, right? Like, in that, I think you have insanity. You lose insanity faster and faster and faster, but if you're good at generating it, you're going to maintain your form. Or maybe you could have an example where, you know, playing better really reduces your cooldown or something like that, but this is on a 5-minute cooldown. Like, this is the one thing that could really change up this spec, but its cooldown is so long that it's only going to happen once in a major fight. So I suppose, when we really look at this spec overall, they've made a spec that's really fun when you're in the world, right? Because, you know, there's a mob over here. You run over to that mob, you hit a few buttons, whatever, you kill it. You run over to another mob, you collect a bunch of mobs, you know, these are imaginary mobs, you hit 5 to stun them, then you move over here, and if I had enough Fury at the minute, I would I-beam them and they would die. It would feel brilliant, it would look brilliant, it would be an absolute power fantasy. But when it comes to fighting in a dungeon, it runs into problems. I've done dungeon bosses on this character. They are boring. My hunter is more fun. My other stuff is more fun. And it really saddens me to say that, because I want this to be a brilliant spec, a really fun spec, what people really want from a demon hunter. But I don't think anyone thinks about a demon hunter and says, oh yeah, I have like 2 core buttons, and then just a few others that I need to, you know, keep off cooldown. When that cooldown is like 45 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute. Like, this just won't do. This just won't do. And, you know, I was almost surprised, like, I hit P, I looked through my spellbook here, and there wasn't more abilities. So, what I think here is, this is early alpha, right? So this video could be invalidated by Blizzard having a plan to add loads more abilities, but I've just got to level 103, and it's not like I'm unlocking new things. I'm unlocking new talents, yes. And for every other class, you're not getting abilities as you level up past 100. You're getting artifact traits. You know, like, this doesn't feel... Okay, first of all, this doesn't feel finished, so I would be amazingly surprised if this made it into the game in this state. Absolutely, I would be stunned, shocked. It would be an absolute terrible thing to happen. The reason I do this video again is to give Blizzard feedback, to give you guys some of an idea of what the problems might be, because when this gets into our hands in the live game, I really do want it to be fun. Here's what I would suggest Blizzard do. First of all, scrap this iteration of Metamorphosis. It's shit. It is shit. I am sorry, guys. Making our 1 and our 2 a slightly different 1 and 2, that's just not fun, especially when it's on such a long cooldown. Metamorphosis, I feel like that should be something that is playing into our gameplay a lot more. Maybe we're doing things which augment our Metamorphosis when we finally get it. Maybe we are doing things to reduce the cooldown of our Metamorphosis really significantly. Maybe we're doing things to elongate the period of time that we're in our Metamorphosis. And to a smaller degree, there are some things which, you know, do make your meta last a little bit longer here. And you know, for example, Demon Reborn, all your cooldowns are reset when you invoke meta. That's pretty cool. Actually, I forgot to feed all of this, or to give you all this row. Soul Rending increases leech by 100% when in demon form, yawn, and then feed the demon, increase the duration of meta by 5 seconds every time you consume a shattered soul. That's just the things that drop off enemies when they die. Yeah, they need to revamp meta, make it more fun. Now then, Demon's Bite and Chaos Strike. Right now, I think that Blizzard think these are fun abilities because of the RNG element. They're not fun because of the RNG element. They're boring abilities. I think what Blizzard tried to do is get the interestingness and the interaction of maybe 4 or 5 abilities squeezed into 2 abilities. Unfortunately for them, this current design does not work. They need to fundamentally rethink that. I think there should be more than 2 buttons. And I think that for 2 reasons. First of all, they can spread more mechanics out around those buttons. And secondly, from a input perspective, hitting 1 and 2 all the time is just dull. You want to be hitting 1, 2, 3, and 4. A few more buttons, maybe get a bit of a rhythm going. I love how the Windwalker Monk almost feels like you're playing a rhythm game because you've got to hit a different button every time. I think that's really engaging, really mentally just stimulating and fun. So really, that's my main thoughts, guys, on this spec. I want it to be great. Hopefully they're going to make it great. Right now, it isn't, and that kind of sucks. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you're an alpha tester, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm really, really interested to hear what other people think. I know Preach put up a video on this. Actually, at the time of me recording, he literally only just uploaded. I haven't watched it yet because I didn't really want to color my opinion with his, but suffice to say, the thing I'm going to do right after I stop this recording is see what Preach thinks, because I'm really interested to see what the current playtesters have got to say about this spec. So yeah, fun in leveling, rubbish in dungeons, probably rubbish fun in raids. That's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.